All right, it looks like Christmas came early this NFL offseason for their teams as the league informed everyone that the salary cap would be taking a massive jump this season, going anywhere from between 277.5 to $281.5 million. That's a huge increase from last year's cap that was sitting at about $255.4 million. So everyone was expecting the cap to take a nice jump, but way higher than most teams were expecting, according to league executives. And now the cap has jumped over $53 million over the last two seasons. And that's where we're seeing the explosion in contracts and salaries and guaranteed cash. The NFL is just printing money and the players are reaping the rewards. And don't let the owners tell you they aren't reaping those rewards either. And it looks like these crazy cap numbers aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The NFL is still crushing in the ratings department. They did have a new TV deal, and Netflix looks like they're getting in on wanting Sunday games. We're going to have games all over the place. Sunday Ticket has exploded on YouTube TV, even with the price increases, which are getting a little bit ridiculous, to watch all 254 NFL games. It takes a lot. It's like $700 plus if you're subscribed for the year for all these platforms: Peacock, Paramount, YouTube TV, Sunday Ticket, ESPN, ESPN Plus, whatever they're forcing us to get these days. Netflix on the damn Christmas games, Amazon Prime for Thursday Night Football. It is getting very pricey for the consumer. Pair that with the ridiculous costs and ticket price to go see the game. We're starting to lose the affordability of the NFL, but Roger Goodell doesn't care. The NFL owners don't really care. They're still making money hand over fist. We're all buying the merchandise. We're still all watching the games. The numbers don't lie. The Super Bowl numbers, maybe they got finagled a little bit. They said this is like the most watched Super Bowl ever. Find that hard to believe, especially in the American audience. There was a lot of Chiefs fatigue and a rematch from just 2 years ago. But still, the Bills-Chiefs playoff game, AFC Championship game, one of the most watched games ever. The NFL is not going anywhere, especially since they're ducking the allegations now. Everyone thought the league was starting to become fixed. Chiefs three-peat, the Swifties. The Giant was slayed. So I think everyone's in a better mood now when it comes to the NFL and the overall product we're going to see. But the cap going up is huge, huge news, especially for a lot of teams. I mean, teams like the New Orleans Saints were about to be bankrupt. 70 plus million over the cap prior to this increase. Now getting a little bit of cap relief here. We're going to go on over looking at everybody's cap situations. Now, this is with a 279.5 projections by overthecap.com. And look at our Saints. Like our Saints over here, we just love shitting on the Saints because they keep kicking this can down the road. Their actual cap space is 47.1 over, but their effective is like 52.5 over. But that's still very reasonable. They'll be probably able to get under that number without any drastic moves there. I mean, everybody, the teams that really got hurt here are like the Dolphins, who effective number, they're technically under the cap, but effective number 6 million over. Cowboys under the cap, but still over technically. These teams are in bad shapes, but at least, the Browns, Saints, they're terrible. Dolphins, Cowboys, not great. Falcons, yikes. Seahawks, kind of yikes. Bills are at least a really good team. Texans make sense. The Chiefs make sense. Buccaneers, Ravens, Eagles, all good teams. Jets. But let's look at our huge winners, like New England at the top here. 118 in effective cap space. Over 126 on the actual cap. So they're going to be able to spend a ton of money, which they desperately, desperately need. This is one of the worst teams and rosters in the NFL. Other big winners, the Raiders with a new regime and with Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly running the offense. How about the Commanders? Commanders, a ton of money to spend this offseason, can upgrade the skill positions, upgrade the offensive line, upgrade that defense after an NFC Championship game run. Other big movers, the Chargers, Cardinals, Bears, Vikings, Steelers, Bengals, all opportunities to spend a lot of money. Like, this is huge for the Bengals. Like, this is an easy, we could keep Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. So they can keep all three of their guys while they're already paying Joe Burrow, potentially get some guys for their defense. If Minnesota chooses not to keep Sam Darnold, a ton of money to upgrade pretty much everywhere. They do have to sign a few guys on the defense, but still lots of movement there. The Steelers, maybe they go out and spend big on a quarterback, even though it's not the best quarterback market. Availability to trade. We look at these teams that are they got a quarterback, but what are they doing? It feels like the Cowboys are floundering. Could the Cowboys trade Dak Prescott? We got a lot of teams now with a lot of cap space that can make moves. Kind of love the Cardinals here. Kyler Murray is a massive cap hit and kind of a dead weight on this team, but they still have no money tied up in really anybody else, so they could really start building a great contender in the desert. Chicago, Ben Johnson, get an offensive line for Caleb Williams. Could buy a running back. It's a good running back market out there. So just tons and tons of options and flexibility. And ultimately, the real winners are us, the fans, and obviously the players themselves. The players are going to keep getting these crazy, crazy contracts. And I don't think we need to overreact when it says like highest paid player in history. Like, duh, that's going to be it. Highest paid ever at the position. That's just what we're going to see. The big real changes now, we're starting to see these contracts mostly guaranteed with large signing bonuses and cash up front. And that's pretty much the big inhibiting factor for the contracts now is we have some of these poorer owners that aren't able to drop racks on racks on racks when they sign guys to get them that upfront money. Also carries a lot of dead cap weight to them. When you do that, you amortize the contracts so you can spread that cap hit out over all those years, but you can't get rid of a guy if you commit to him for a little bit longer. We see these huge dead cap hits like the Russell Wilson, but teams are just eating it now with these multi-billionaire owners, new ownership groups. They got real spending money out there, and they aren't afraid to fire head coaches and cut ties with players, eat that dead cap money, and just figure it out along the way. So we are heading into a very interesting era of the National Football League where we're going to have the elite tier owners with the money to spend, drop the cash, get guys to sign with them, pay up front, and these old school guys who have owned these teams forever that don't really make money anywhere else. I mean, the Raiders, Mark Davis is like the poorest owner in the league. Doesn't have any other money besides the Raiders. We're looking at the Giants. They're looking at selling their team, the Maras, for, 10% of their team to just get an influx of cash and ownership groups out there. The Hunts are doing okay. I think 3 Super Bowls in the last few seasons helps out a little bit, but it's still not a lot. I mean, maybe by this time, in 5-10 years, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going to be owning a piece of the Chiefs. And then that way, everyone can hate them even more. So I think this is a really interesting era. Interesting time frame in the NFL. I think these old school family ownerships that have owned these teams for 50, 60, 70, some almost 100 years now are on their way out, and we're in big time money makers. Equity groups now can buy stakes into NFL teams. That's going to be a game changer. Just so much cash getting thrown around here in the NFL. But that's going to do it for us today. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Is this big for your team? Did you get a big boost to your salary cap? Or are you sitting there like, it's not really going to do much for us? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for daily sports content. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of access to cool exclusive perks, exclusive videos throughout the season. Check out our live streams each and every week. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.